Anything going on, folks?
He violated my PPO 3 steps out this door by threatening me.
Welcome to Rebel Chaser. My name is Gail, and I have a video for you from Judge Prill in Michigan. He has a couple that are getting divorced, and this is their divorce hearing. And I've shown this couple before because the wife has a PPO out on the husband, and he is so obsessed with her that he constantly stalks her. He's even gone so far as to have her committed because he cannot fathom that she wants a divorce. And when he's in front of the judge, he acts like he's Eddie Haskell. He completely gaslights and lies to the judge. I'll let you guys watch this.
This is Brandon Thomas. This is 24-7701 BL. It's time and date set for divorce trial. The parties are present in the courtroom. Would you both please raise your right hands?
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Thank you. All right. It does not, there is a proposed judgment in the file, but is there an agreement at this time between the parties? No? Okay.
There's been no conversation over 100 days. So.
I have a PPO. We cannot legally speak to each other.
I understand. Well, let's begin the trial then. What will happen is I will call the plaintiff first to place information on the record. The defendant has the right to cross-examination of the plaintiff that needs questioning. And then whatever proofs the plaintiff wants to bring in, she brings in. And then at that point, she'll rest. Then I'll turn to Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas will present his proofs. So with that in mind, I'll begin then with the plaintiff. And you've been sworn. Ms. Thomas, would you please state your full name for the record?
I'm Danielle Nicole Thomas.
And you are the plaintiff in this matter, is that
Yes.
correct? Have you lived in the county of Huron at least 10 days, in the state of Michigan at least 180 days immediately preceding your filing of this complaint for divorce?
Yes.
At the time you filed this complaint for divorce, was Mr. Thomas also a resident of Huron County?
Yes.
Is it true that you were married on July 17th, 2020 in Bad Axe, Michigan by a person authorized to perform marriages in the state? Now, the complaint doesn't indicate when you stopped living together. At the time the complaint was filed, the parties were living together. I'm assuming since the personal protection order of the party, you have separated from Mr. Thomas.
Yeah, so I filed the complaint the morning of May 9th. Because I filed that complaint, he did some other things, and because of those things, I did not return to his house at all after that.
All right, so what date do you believe would have been the 10th, did you say?
The 9th.
9th. Okay. And prior to the marriage, your last name was Slater, S-L-A-T-E-R?
Yes.
And your husband has always been known as Brandon Lee Thomas, correct?
Yes, questionably, except for when he was a child. Like, I believe he had a different last name.
Okay, but he's identified as Brandon Lee
Yeah.
Thomas, correct? Are there any minor children of the marriage?
No.
Are you currently expecting?
No.
I have to ask that.
God, no.
You've alleged in your complaint for divorce that there's been a breakdown in the marriage relationship to the extent that the objects of matrimony have been destroyed, and there remains no reasonable likelihood the marriage could be preserved. Was that true at the time you filed the complaint?
Absolutely.
Is it still true today?
Absolutely.
In your own words, very briefly, can you explain to the court why you feel the marriage cannot be preserved?
There is no, first of all, there's no real relationship here. We cannot get along with each other. We cannot trust each other. We cannot be around each other without having problems.
All right.
It's not ever going to happen that way.
Is there any chance of reconciliation?
Absolutely not.
If the court did not grant you an absolute judgment of divorce, would you be willing to resume a husband-wife relationship?
No.
All right. Now, this marriage is a little over 4 years, correct?
Yes.
And with that, during the marriage, I'm assuming property was acquired during the marriage. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And let's begin first with any homes. Are there any homes or real property, anything like that?
No.
Okay. You don't own a home?
No, and the home that he owns was years prior to me meeting him.
Okay. I don't want to go to the address of it. I'm just going to give the number. 5066, is that the residence? All right. And so that being that it is his home, I'm assuming, or maybe I'm wrong, it doesn't sound like you're interested in any interest in this home. Is that correct?
Not at all.
So the real property located 5066, that is the home, the land that the home is on, would be awarded to Mr. Thomas Thre, cleared from any value.
Yeah.
And any indebtedness, is there a mortgage on the home, if you know?
There's a defaulted land contract. What the situation with that is now, I have no idea. I have nothing to do with it.
Okay, so you're not on the land contract, nothing?
No.
All right. So obviously the real property would be awarded to you. Is there any personal property of the marriage that you are requesting?
Yeah, there are a few things.
Go ahead.
There are a couple of things of my father's that were borrowed to us. A fishing boat and the motor that goes along with it. My dad's 3 kayaks, and then I would like to get my son and I's 4-wheelers as well.
How many?
There's 2. One of them is a little KO. I believe it's a 125 or a 150 kids 4-wheeler. The other one is a Polaris Sportsman full-size quad.
What was the first one?
It's a KO. It's like a
How do you spell that?
KAYO.
Okay, not familiar with that. Oh, all right. So let's begin first with the fishing boat. You said the fishing boat is your father's?
Yeah, so the fishing boat and the kayaks were all loaned to us. Nothing was given to Brandon because he is Brandon. They were because of me.
Okay, so let me just stop you for a moment. The fishing boat has had an MC letters and numbers on the side of it to be on the water.
Yes.
MC and then some numbers and letters. If I were to get those MC numbers and run the registration of that boat, whose name would it come back to?
That should be my father's. It's not been registered. I'm sure he has changed that. I'm surprised he hasn't done the same with my car.
Please just answer my question.
It should be my father. The last I know it was my father. The boat was given to us to be torn down, to be refinished because the flooring needed to be replaced so that the whole family could use it.
Okay.
He tore it apart, never put it back together. So it shouldn't be registered to anybody other than my dad or possibly my uncle.
How large of a boat is this?
It's like it's just a little 14-foot fishing boat.
And how long ago was it, in your words, loaned out to children?
Last summer, the summer before.
And what about the motor for that motor? Is that the motor that was on it when it arrived from your?
No. So actually the motor was in my father's basement where it had been for years. Brandon was told not to take it. And he actually went over and took it out of my dad's house anyway without permission. So we were never even supposed to have this boat motor.
Okay. What about the kayaks?
Those were loaned to us numerous times. We would go get them to take them out on the water, take them back. This last time we just didn't happen to get them back to my dad's house yet. That's why they're still on his property.
The 2 4-wheelers. First, the KO. When was that purchased?
I believe on my son's birthday of last year. I think it was the day of his birthday. It was my son's birthday present. We paid half and my dad paid for half.
How much was the KO?
Right around 2,000, maybe 2,200 total. I don't have any of the paperwork to have exact numbers.
And you stated that you and Mr. Thomas paid half, and then your father paid the other half.
Well, yeah, my dad gave us $1,000 cash to put towards for my son's birthday.
Okay, and was that treated as a loan or a gift, or what was it treated as?
It's a gift to my son.
Okay. What about the Polaris?
That was purchased for me since we've been married. You can shake your head all you want. There was 2.
Speak to me. Don't focus on Mr. Thomas.
So there was 2 quads that friends of ours had had. The one that we purchased was purchased to be mine. I used it. I took it trail riding. The other one he was going to purchase for himself, and he just never ended up doing that. I believe that quad ended up getting sold to somebody else. But the one that he does have was mine. It was purchased for me.
Okay. And you said it was purchased last year. How much was the purchase?
No, the Polaris was purchased, I want to say in 2021.
Oh, okay.
It's been a few years.
All right. And how much was the purchase price of this Polaris?
I want to say that one we paid $2,000 for as well, maybe more.
All right. Are there any other assets, marital assets, that you are requesting?
No.
I'm assuming you're requesting the personal property currently in your possession.
Yeah, my car. That's all I have.
Your clothing, jewelry, and effects.
Yeah, anything else that he has, I have no interest in having at this point.
Okay, what type of vehicle do you have?
A Dodge Durango 2014. That is titled and financed in my name only, and in my possession.
And when did you make that purchase?
January of last year. January 3rd, 4th, 5th, one of those days.
Okay. And you said that Mr. Thomas is not on the note.
No.
All right. So have we covered all the assets?
Yes.
What about debts?
There's only one, well, I guess maybe there's another one, but the only one that I'm super worried about, so on May 9th when I left, I have the petitions and stuff here. He had me petitioned to be taken to the ER for a psych evaluation because he was mad that I filed for divorce. I was there for less than 30 minutes. It was a huge waste of time, but I now have a $586.26 ER bill that was not covered by insurance. And I would like that to be paid. And then I don't have the bill on me. I think it might be in my car, but he had my car for a week when I first left, refused to give it back to me, had a fit that he had to put insurance on it. Come to find out, he did that because he can't afford insurance in his name, so he put his trucks insured under my name as well without adding himself as a driver. And then he let his 15-year-old unlicensed driver of a daughter drive the other truck, and these have been insured under my name for months. And they're sending me a bill saying that I owe them $188 for that insurance policy as well.
So any other vehicles other than the Dodge Durango, you're stating would be Mr. Thomas's property?
Yeah, I don't want his cars.
Any credit card debt?
I don't have any. What he has, I have no idea.
All right. Any debt in both names?
No.
And you wish to have your previous name restored to Slater, is that correct?
Yes.
Are there any pension, annuity, or retirement accounts?
No, neither one of us has any of those.
Any life insurance that carries cash value?
Not that I'm aware of.
Anything else you wish to add regarding any property, effects, anything like that?
No.
All right. Sir, do you have any questions?
Questions as far as what we just spoke about?
Yes. Any questions relative to a divorce proceeding?
Yeah. On May 9th, well, it'll be May 8th, Tuesday afternoon, we had an argument in the vehicle as we were driving down the road. And she was asked numerous times over and over to stop the argument, stop the screaming, stop the swinging at me in the car. We got back on our way back home as this was taking place. She stood up in her vehicle and swung at my 15-year-old daughter. Physically. Because my daughter was pounding on the back of the seat, asking her to stop, effing stop, effing stop. She was tired of this.
His daughter was punching.
Excuse me. I've got your testimony, but I need to hear a question. I'm asking if you have any questions for this individual. First, you'll have the opportunity to speak as well.
Okay. First of all, how do you feel the Polaris is yours when it was purchased for the business?
It wasn't purchased for the business, it was purchased for me to go trail riding.
It wasn't.
Just because you refuse to buy business equipment is not my
It
problem.
was purchased through the business.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
Okay, no, I don't want to hear an argument. You have questions you can ask, just simply ask the questions.
One of my questions is, with your diagnosis of your bipolar,
I am not diagnosed bipolar.
I
Assumes facts, not in evidence.
have pictures of her bipolar medication that is still at my house.
Do you have pictures of a paper
Wait.
saying I'm bipolar?
Miss, please stop. You have to just simply answer the questions posed by Mr. Thomas.
I am asking, we had a great marriage. We did a lot of things together. We traveled together. We went to Florida when my mom was almost dying. And you proceeded to get off your medication at the end of February. And you went downhill from there. Did you not sit in bed for 2 months straight and do absolutely nothing?
No, I went to work and I did my schoolwork and I came off of medication with the assistance of my doctor, who prescribed me numerous doses to taper off of a medication that even he said he did not believe I actually needed.
Okay, well, again, excuse me, both of you, just a moment. That's hearsay. Unless the doctor's here to testify, the court's not going to consider it. Next, secondarily to that, plaintiff is filed for divorce in this matter. Michigan is no fault divorce state, which means you can divorce for whatever reason you wish to. It can be because it's Thursday. That's all the reason you need. However, unless it involves, and if she's requesting it, and the court finds that there's been a breakdown in the marriage relationship, that's all that needs to be shown. Then the next step is, how do we divide whatever assets and debts are left? And because it's no fault divorce, if she's requesting it and she establishes that, the divorce will go forward. But if you have anything relative to the property, anything relative to real or personal property, that's fair game. Now, about medications and the reasons for the breakup and all of that, it's essentially not relevant, because if the plaintiff alleges a breakdown, that's all that needs to be established. And we've been asked in the past, well, why can't you just order counseling? Why can't you just go to meet with someone and talk about this? Well, that's why I asked the question, is there any chance of reconciliation? The plaintiff said no. If I did not grant a divorce today, would you be willing to resume a husband-wife relationship? And again, the answer was no. So that's how we have to proceed. But if you have another question, sir, go ahead.
As far as the boat, how do you say it was not given to me? When I pulled it, your dad told me to come and get it out of the weeds of your aunt's house.
To be fixed so that it was usable by everybody.
That was not the agreement. It was just to get it out of the woods at your aunt's house.
No, because my dad works a lot and he doesn't have time to do projects like that. You agreed to fix it so that my son could be taken out fishing and so that everybody could use this boat, not just for you.
This boat was acquired and given to me over 4 years ago.
No, it was not. It
Okay, but we're not going to
absolutely
go back
was
and
not.
forth. Excuse me. We're not going back and forth. If there's a question, simply answer the question posed. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, another one of my questions. I've asked you and asked you and asked you over and over for the last 3 years that I've been on every HIPAA piece of paperwork, every psychologist appointment, every doctor's appointment, everything that you've ever needed. And I've been there because you requested that. the day that you filed these divorce papers and then the falsified PPO order, I have never hurt you. I've always taken care of you through everything.
Is this a question?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, what is the question?
what is the question?
The question is, impartial statement, is I know you're going to therapy, and I've been asking.
Because you follow me.
Excuse me.
Please, I just need a question, sir. You're not asking a question, you're providing a narrative. Which you'll have an opportunity to do once the plaintiff rests.
I am trying to lead to the question.
Please do.
I'm well aware my wife is going to therapy. I also have been going to therapy. My question is, why cannot we not sit down and at least go over the grounds of what went on, try to figure something out, talk about something?
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be near you. I want nothing to do with you. And we have talked about all of this probably hundreds of times over the last 4 years. You will not listen to anything anybody says. You will not change your mind. 50 people can tell you that I'm not coming back and that this is never going to be solved. And for some reason, you will still text them back and say, oh, I just don't believe that. So why am I going to go sit in therapy with you? For what? It doesn't get us anywhere.
A lot has changed.
Good for you. I have also changed.
Miss.
I'm over it.
Excuse me, miss. We don't need the tone. We don't need the tone. We just need to have you simply answer the question.
I thought these were supposed to be about property. This doesn't seem like it's about property.
Well, but again, sir, as I've stated, if the plaintiff requests it and she shows that there's been a breakdown, that's all that needs to be established. That's it. So any counseling or therapy or anything that you're requesting, if the plaintiff does not want it, or
She can't make a decision, Your Honor, when she's in a manic state.
but that's not.
She's off her medications. It's been brought to my attention that she's been doing other things.
Okay, but again, that you'd have to have a doctor come in.
And I'm working on that.
There's no probate court here, no probate court order saying that she needs a guardian or conservator.
Working on it.
There's
Of course you are.
There's nothing like that at all before the court. I have nothing other than her request for the divorce. That's all I have.
I believe until the interviews are done with HVH and TNU, I'm working on those as we speak.
All right. Well, today's a divorce trial.
And I've asked for it to be postponed until further so we can get some of this stuff taken care of prior.
Why is it relevant to a divorce proceeding?
Because this is all being done with misdiagnosis, not being on medications. She's in a manic state. She's doing things like yesterday, I got followed for 7 miles down the road.
I was driving home from work. He just so happened to end up in front of me.
Okay, again,
There's a lot of things, a lot of elements to the situation that need to be addressed. I'm working on those. I have to sit with Karen at HVH, who's the supervisor over there. I have a meeting with TNU coming up.
What's that?
Some narcotics.
Okay.
I'm assuming, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, today's a divorce trial date, sir. We have to proceed.
Okay, and I'm asking for it to be postponed 30 to 90 days so I can get these things taken care of.
I would love to do a drug test right now.
Again, please. Your request for adjournment is respectfully denied. There has to be a good cause in requesting this. There's nothing in this record to indicate the plaintiff is not competent to file the proceedings that she's done in this case. You're making allegations that there are medical diagnoses. That's hearsay, sir. You need to have the doctors and you need to have the individuals come out and testify. Today's the day for it, sir. I'm sorry. Your request for an adjournment is respectfully denied.
This doesn't make any sense, Your Honor. I just sit here time and time again trying to talk to you and explain to you what's going on. And every time I do, I get shut down.
I'm not shutting you down, sir. I'm allowing you to speak. What I'm telling you is, under the rules of evidence, there must be a foundation to admit this information into the record, which you've not done.
Okay, this is what it is. For 5 years, I have taken care of this woman through and through. She's been on multiple trips. She's been given everything, right down to the $1,500 phone that's laying on there. The car that she purchased or has, I paid for the down payment and reimbursed her father because we didn't have the money because it was the first of the year and the banks were shut down. And I had to go to her father to get her a car in an emergency because she totaled the last one I purchased. That was $4,000 that I put down on that car, and I reimbursed her father. As far as the KO four-wheeler, it is sold and gone. I purchased
Selling
that.
marital property.
I purchased that myself with my name, my business card, everything.
What's the name of the business?
I want to try to come on, so.
Which I could come after too, but I'm not because I just want this to be over.
All right,
But if you want the divorce.
excuse me. Tri-County Lawn and Snow, is it registered to Tri-County Lawn and Snow? The four-wheeler?
No.
What name was it registered under?
Mine.
Okay, go ahead.
As far as the Polaris, it was also purchased from a friend for the business because it has a big plow on it and I plow snow. It was going to be used as a utility vehicle to take care of my properties that I take care of. As far as riding it on the trails, yes, I've had multiple machines. I've had dirt bikes, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, all that stuff, snowmobiles, years. I do a lot of trail riding. That's my off time. That's what I like to do. It was specifically purchased for the business, but she wrote it. I had another four-wheeler that I could ride, plus I borrowed one from my friend all the time, like she was talking about, and we would go trail riding. As far as the boat, it was given to me by her father almost 4 years ago when we lived at my father's residence. The boat has been torn apart into many pieces because the board was rotten. It's been worked on. Not until it started last summer we started working on it. My daughter's boyfriend and I. It's still not finished. He gave it to me. He didn't want it no more. He buys stuff all the time, uses it once or twice, and gets rid of it. I mean, he's given me a drone. He's given me this. He's just given me all kinds of stuff. Just cuts. As far as the boat motor, I asked him once we were in the process of trying to put the boat back together. The motor was put in the basement because it was fogged and gone through, so it was winterized. And it sat down there for years, and I told him, we're getting the boat put back together. Can I get the motor for it? I was told, yeah. So my daughter's boyfriend and I went and picked it up over 2 years ago. Nothing's been said since then. So the boat was given. As far as the kayaks, those we use all the time. She wants the kayak, she can have the kayaks. I don't really care. I'll drop them off at the local police department. It was just something that my wife and I and the kids went out and we get the kayaks and go. That was it. That's all it was. But as far as owing her anything, any past debts, anything like that, this woman has not worked very much more than her current situation. She would work 2 to 3 months, quit, and if she worked those 2 to 3 months, they would be 1-2 days a week. everything that she needed, from clothes to feminine products to you name it, I paid for it through and through. So I don't owe her anything. I mean, the house I got before we got together, I purchased her first car for her and put the down payment on that she totaled. So as far as the four-wheelers and the boat, I don't believe she has any jurisdiction on. First of all, the boat has nothing to do with her. That is a discrepancy between her and father and I. So if he has an issue, then we can discuss that. As far as the four-wheelers, I purchased those.
They were purchased during the marriage, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, they're marital assets. How much did you sell the KO for?
$1,000.
Who was it sold to?
JC.
Who's JC?
Friend/business
No,
client.
excuse me, I'm asking Mr. Thomas.
Started as a business client, turned into a friend.
What's the individual's full name?
I can't tell you that.
You said JC. And the title was switched to
There's
JC.
no title. Same thing with the players. There's no title.
Okay. The Polaris, how much was that purchased for?
$1,200.
Now, the plaintiff says it was 2,000, maybe more.
Which is incorrect. I bought it from Kyra Nicole Woodruff. It was her grandfather's. I bought it from her. They were needing money for Christmas presents. I had the extra funds at the time. I made interest because I used to work on it. Many times I did all the maintenance to it, brakes, oil changes, take it back to them. They ride it, they beat on it. I get it back, I fix whatever her husband messed up on it, and again we go. It was just friendship back and forth. She needed money. I bought it. I knew I could use it for business. Got a hitch on it. It's got a dump box. I spread fertilizer, sprays, plow snow. That's what I purchased it for. So it's an asset to the business. She just rode it in the summertime on the trails. Twice, 3 times. So it's not something that she used every day, anything like that. It was just, I have, like I said, I've got multiple four-wheelers at the house that I've got a Yamaha Kodiak 400 four-wheeler drive that we use also. It has a plow. I have a side-by-side that has a plow.
Was that purchased during the marriage?
None of that stuff was. But the Polaris was solely purchased for business. So she has no asset to that as far as that goes. She just believes it's hers, and it's not.
What about the insurance bill, $186.88?
That was an insurance policy that we had together before she separated.
No, it was not.
Yes.
Miss?
It was.
Miss, I'm asking the question.
I can
So
correct.
did you place, for instance, all these vehicles in her name?
They were all placed on the policy.
Who are the vehicles titled to?
Both of us.
Both?
No,
Yes.
there are not a single vehicle that has both of our names titled.
The vehicles are titled individually, but they're both of our vehicles. My truck, her car. So on and so forth.
So the insurance policy she's talking about, is that the policy that you obtained?
No, that was already obtained.
Okay. But that amount would reflect pickup trucks, not the Durango.
That's all of our vehicles.
Everything?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't have a problem paying $186 if that's a problem. I'll send her a check.
Anything else you want to add?
As far as these this $600 supposed bill that she got from being picked up, I don't think I'm responsible for it due to the fact that she swung on my daughter and I told her to either get help or I have to do what I have to do because I have a custody case with my daughter. So I don't want my ex-wife finding out that she's swinging on my kids. There's nothing. So I didn't know what to do at the time. I sat here and broke down and cried in the hallway before I turned the papers in because I didn't want to do that to my wife. It was the worst decision I ever made, and she still does not understand that. My point is, I've done everything I can to try to help her, and I'm still going to continue to try to help her. This is not my wife. This is not how she normally acts. This is why I asked for the counseling. I know what my wife needs. This court does not know what my wife needs.
I have a PPO.
Excuse me.
Mind your business.
Miss, it's his time to speak. Go ahead, sir.
I have tried extensively to understand what's going on. I still don't know why she just got up and left at 8:30 in the morning and told me at 11:30 in the afternoon I'm getting divorce papers. At that time, I was already getting these papers to get her help because I have been at every medical, therapist, doctor's appointments. I've been on Zoom meetings. Why? Because she's asked me to go to these. And I've been there for every single one of them. Every time she's done a medication change, she can clearly understand that I stood there and cried with tears in the doctor's office. And I told her,
Mr. Thomas, focus on me.
it's going to be a roller coaster ride when we go through these medications, and I'm here for it. And she again crying, thank you. So, because I'm there for her going through these. Now, Dr. Rossman is not a licensed physician to take her off these meds that she's on and was on. And I know you say it's hearsay, but I have spoken to many people that have seen her since February when she started coming off these meds. Their demeanor changed and everything. She sat in bed for 2 months. She said she was working. She may have worked one day. She quit her job. She got my daughter hired at the same place, quit her job, and her boss is like, I don't even know why she's quit. I don't know what's wrong. Nothing. And then I said, she's off her medication. I'm trying to get her help. I'm trying to get her back on them where she's supposed to be. I'm trying to get her into counseling. I'm trying to help her. I have done nothing but try to help this woman her entire time that we've been together. And that's why I am begging and begging and begging for the counseling that she has refused to go to, but now will after the fact that we split. And all I'm asking is to mutually sit down in a room and talk to each other, figure out what's going on, and try to resolve anything. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I understand that, but I'm still trying to do that. The other thing is I want to see my stepson, who I've raised since he was 2 years old, who has called me dad since day 3. I want visitation with him. I want to be able to see him, provide for him like I have, and anything that he needs, from sports to school clothes to anything. I lost a son 21 years ago, and I regained one 5 years ago. And it tears me apart every day that I cannot see this boy and help him get through what's going on. She says he hates me. He doesn't. I've been there for that boy through and through. And I want to fight for visitation for him. I don't care if my blood doesn't run through his veins. That's still my boy.
Anything else?
I don't know what to say anymore at this point. It's just, this has been blown so far out of proportion because of lack of communication. And this is where we stand. And it's wasting the court's time because literally this could have been solved if we sat down and talked like two human beings. Like we always have. We've been through many, many of problems. From her biting into my thumb off, to throwing knives, all kinds of stuff. And I've been there and I've stuck through by her side because I know it's not her. And I am asking and begging the court to understand where I'm coming from. And I'm basically begging for help for my life. She sits here and she acts like she is and throws this huffing and puffing attitude. This is classic of what she does when she's upset and doesn't like confrontation on anything. But the mediation of sitting down, I don't care if it's at HBH, here with a court officer, anywhere, to be able to sit down and try to reconcile some of this stuff. We had a 5-year marriage. We did everything together. We were locked at hip. Anywhere we went, we were together. Everything we did, we were together constantly up until the day she left. 6 months ago, Your Honor, we were talking about having reversal surgery so she could have a baby. That's what I'm saying. You don't understand how her coming off her medication and doing all this stuff has really affected everything. It's just, this is all done in a manic state and anger. That's why all this is being done. But when she doesn't want to accept what she's done or take into consideration what she's done, this is where we're at. It's ridiculous. There's no reason that we can't talk. Other than she says she doesn't want to. But medically, this is what needs to happen. I have documents to prove that. I've also talked to the school superintendent, who was her principal, who has documents to prove her actions from when she was 14 years old all the way to current day. And he would be willing to give those to you also. All right. Thank you. So that's why I'm asking for it to be adjourned. So all this paperwork can be brought forward. And we can have, I would like a psych evaluation assessment done on her before the divorce is finalized, to be honest. Because I've been through so much with her, and I know this is not her. It's just not. My wife is a very loving woman.
Ms. Thomas, I've afforded opportunity for father to speak. I'm sorry, husband to speak. Ms. Thomas, are you willing to sit down with Mr. Thomas on his request to mediate this?
Absolutely not. He literally
Okay,
just
I know,
wants to
I
get
just-
guardianship over me.
Excuse me, it was just a simple question. That's all I'm asking. Now, I have to ask you another question. Is there anything affecting your mind or brain making it difficult to make important decisions?
No.
You have a clear mind.
Yes.
You're stating this under oath.
Yes, I am starting school full-time on the 24th. One of my classes starts, the rest start on the 26th. I'm literally starting a new second job today.
Okay, very well.
I'm trying to get my life together. Unfortunately, somebody has taken every single thing and years of my life away from me, playing this insane control game. And yes, now it's not the easiest. I'm trying to put it back together, but I'm living with my father and my brother. If I was having that serious of an issue, don't you think my own family would recognize that? Not someone I have a PPO against that is legally not allowed to be near me.
Well, again, this is the time for trial. Both parties are to bring forth information, evidence for the court to consider. And I've considered all the testimony here. And as I've stated before, you can file for divorce because it's Thursday. That's how it works in the state. There's nothing in the record to indicate to the court that the plaintiff is not competent as a witness in this matter. Now, I say father, and I apologize. Mr. Thomas claims to have information that he can provide to the court regarding documentation of medical condition or mental condition relative to the plaintiff. That is hearsay unless it can be established by the individual who wrote that information to indicate whether or not that is the case. And that's not here before the court today. I've already ruled on the request for adjournment of this matter, and I stand behind my ruling. But I have to move forward. Plaintiff has asked for divorce. He has established, based upon the testimony here before the court, that the statutory grounds for divorce have been established. So the court finds that the statutory grounds for divorce have been established. And therefore, a judgment of absolute divorce is granted to the plaintiff, Danielle Thomas, from the defendant. There are no minor children of the marriage. Mr. Thomas is requesting visitation with his stepson. The law does not allow for that. The law only allows for that if he is the father of the child. There's nothing to indicate anything other than a stepson relationship for approximately 5 years, which Mr. Thomas finds very significant. I understand that. However, he does not have parental rights relative to the stepson. Now, neither party in this case will be awarded spousal support. There's nothing in the record to indicate that either party is entitled to spousal support. Both are able to be employed. One owns a business. One is starting a job and going to school. There's nothing in the record to indicate that neither party, nor was it requested for spousal support. Regarding the property in this matter, this is approximately a 4-year marriage. Marriage was in July of 2000. Try to get this right. July of 2020, July 17th, as a matter of fact. The plaintiff is awarded assets currently in her possession, other than what I will describe in a moment. Mr. Thomas is awarded all the assets currently in his possession, except as stated here in just a moment. However, neither party is entitled to any pensions, annuities, or retirement account. Neither party has them. There's no life insurance carrying any cash value, so that need not be addressed. But relative to the personal property involved, first, the fishing boat. The fishing boat is a 14-foot boat that, according to the plaintiff, was provided to the parties from plaintiff's father. And regarding that particular boat, according to the information provided, that the floor is rotted and it was a matter of repairs and getting this thing up and running. It doesn't appear that there's a lot of cash value to the fishing boat because, again, you have these issues of condition of that boat. And also, I'm accepting Mr. Thomas's testimony that it was pulled essentially out of the weeds and provided. So the fishing boat remains with the defendant. However, the boat motor that was placed in the basement a little over 2 years ago was awarded to the plaintiff. The 3 kayaks, as mentioned, Mr. Thomas said he had no objection to turning them over. They are the plaintiff's father's kayaks. They are returned to the plaintiff. Regarding the 4-wheelers, first beginning with the KO 125. Plaintiff is requesting that 4-wheeler. Defendant is saying it was sold. There is no question that the KO was purchased during the marriage of the parties. According to the defendant, according to the plaintiff, that has a value of at least $2,000 to $2,200. Defendant stated that really the value is $1,000 because it was sold to someone named JC. The proofs have been entered, and as a result of that, obviously, according to the sworn testimony of the defendant, he doesn't have the KO. And as a result of that, that is indeed a marital asset. It was acquired during the marriage. And as a result, $500 is to be awarded to the plaintiff for the half of the value of the sale of that 4-wheeler. It was acquired during the marriage. Regarding the Polaris, plaintiff said $2,000, maybe more, for that item. It was in 2021. In 2021, defendant states it was $1,200. I don't know which. However, accepting both values of 2,000 and 1,200 and taking the average of the two, that would indicate $1,600 as the value of the Polaris. It was acquired during the marriage. Now, it was used, it appears, primarily for the business, no question about that. However, it was also used by the plaintiff for recreation as well. Again, because it was acquired during the marriage, the plaintiff is awarded $800 for her value, marital value in that four-wheeler. So $800 to the plaintiff. But the four-wheeler, the Polaris, will stay with the defendant, but he has to pay the $800 for it. The Dodge Durango is awarded to the plaintiff free and clear from any claim of the defendant. All the pickup trucks and all other property, motor vehicles relative to this case, awarded to the defendant. So in other words, whatever vehicles you currently have in your possession, you keep. The ER bill, 586.26, apparently that portion was not covered by insurance. That is a marital debt. Plaintiff is entitled to half of that ER bill. Regarding the insurance policy, 186.88. Plaintiff states that's just for the pickup trucks. Defendant states it's everything, including the Dodge Durango. 186 for this matter will be divided in half. So $93 is awarded to the plaintiff. That covers the assets. Finally, the plaintiff is restored the surname of Slater, S-L-A-T-E-R. Any questions regarding this judgment first of this?
No.
Sir, any questions regarding the judgment?
Yeah. As far as the Polaris four-wheeler goes, I can provide proof of what I paid for it. It was $1,200.
Right, I took that into account.
Okay, so I don't know why I went to 800 because half of 12 is 6.
Well, plaintiff said it was 2,000, maybe more. So what I did was add the 2,000 plus the 1,200 divided by 2.
Okay, I have proof of what it was. Second of
Well,
all,
but you didn't provide that to the court.
well, I don't have a $10,000 lawyer to know what I have to bring and what I don't have to bring.
Well, I'm sorry about that, sir. I
But
just
the
have to
other
go with the
thing-
evidence that's presented.
The other thing is, she didn't put into accountability that I paid $450 on an electric bill that she had shut off the next day.
I still owe them $700 and I'm not even arguing with him to pay that, and that is entirely from his property.
Our home when you live there.
That bill was over
Okay,
$1,000.
No one brought up the bill during the course of the trial. Whose name is the bill in?
Mine.
You're stuck with it.
I know, I'm not even gonna argue. Didn't even bring it up.
You're stuck with it because it was not brought out during the course of the trial. The proofs have been entered. Do you have any other questions?
How much do I owe her?
Total appears to be $1,393, $800, which is half of the average value of the Polaris, $500, which is half of the value of the KO that was sold. I accepted your testimony, and then $93 reflecting half. Yes, half of the 186 for the insurance.
Even with the insurance being paid for 5 years by me, and now she's worried about $186.
Well, that's the outstanding bill that's out there right now. You're entitled to pay for half.
So I got to give her $1,400.
$1,393 to be exact. When do you think you could provide that to her?
It's going to be a while.
Can you do it within 90 days?
No.
When can you do it?
bills to take care of right now. Business is slow.
I know how the business works. He should be very easily able to pay it by January or February once snow plowing starts.
That's accurate.
6 months?
How can I give it to her? Am I gonna give it to the court? Can I send it directly to her? Cashier
Well, that
check,
could be a violation of the personal protection order.
which I'm going to continue to fight.
You're entitled.
Continue to violate it as well.
Oh,
Excuse me.
Miss, I don't need any commentary. I was asking if there was any questions regarding the judgment. That's what we're addressing. So what we can do is we still have what can be done, and the court will allow this then. The 1393 can be paid in the form of a cash or check within 6 months to plaintiff's father because the motor has to be returned.
Okay.
So we can do it that way. Again, when you exchange the motor, the kayaks are returned, all that, just keep in mind that personal protection.
Well, I'll have PD present with me when that happens regardless, so
That's
there's,
probably a very good idea.
How should we go about handling that property exchange? I
I will contact.
I will not
the
go to
father.
his property. I will not be there. I will not be present whatsoever. However, because of the way he acts, my father and my brother are really not willing to be near him either.
I can't order either side, but I would highly suggest that there be a simple standby where law enforcement is there. Just as was mentioned by Mr.
That
Thomas.
was my request.
By doing so, it'll be safe.
I'll meet him at the police department. I don't care.
Very good. And that's what we'll do. Any other questions regarding the judgment?
With this judgment being stated, also you're aware that there's a PPO order involved. She states that she's supposed to be starting a new job. I'm not aware of where this is. I really don't care where it's at, but I want to at least know that it's not at one of my contracted locations.
Then I have no idea where.
Can that question be answered?
Well, first of all, I'm not telling you where I'm working, but
That's
no,
That's not part
I'm
of
not
it.
asking you
it's
if it's.
nowhere near.
Excuse me, folks. Again, I'm being respectful. I have to be, but that's not part of the divorce proceedings.
Well, it's part of the PPO, and I don't want a violation for me going to work.
Absolutely agree, but
That's why I'm
PPO is not
asking.
before the court right now either. It's not before the court. So if there's an issue with the PPO, either party can present a motion.
I'm gonna find out.
Okay. That'll be all. Thank you.
Thank you.
The judgment will be prepared by the court, and once that judgment is signed, that will indicate that the parties are officially divorced, and we will proceed from there. Thank you. Stand by a moment. Deputy, is there an issue?
No, are you good? They told me that you called over.
Yes, I did. That case just ended.
Okay.
Stand by.
Yep.
Anything going on, folks?
He violated my PPO 3 steps out this door by threatening me.
I didn't do anything, but try to walk past her.
Well,
Did she leave and I leave?
but if you want to file a complaint, contact law enforcement. I can't be involved.
I went to the sheriff and they sent me to the Bad Axe Police and they sent me back here.
I'll sit here.
They said they have to pull the hallway cameras to prove it and then file a complaint from there.
Okay, then that's what they're going to do.
So who do I talk to?
You contacted Bad Axe Police Department. They'll follow through with the complaint. Stay in touch with them.
Okay.
Okay?
Will they though? Because that doesn't seem to be happening.
You know how to reach them. Contact them if you have any questions.
This is what I'm doing.
Do you want me to escort them out separately?
Yes, please. And then I'll take care of the matter. Thank you.
Yep.
And sir, if you wouldn't mind removing your cap while you're in front of us. Thank you. Unless it's religious purposes. Go ahead, Ms. Christie.
Okay, thank you.
This guy just doesn't get it. She is done with this relationship. She is done with him. She never wants to see his face again. And he doesn't get that. He constantly harasses her. They have been into court previous to this, several times for numerous PPO violations because he constantly stalks her, harasses her, follows her. He knows where she goes. He knows who she sees. He knows the doctor she goes to see. He knows the stores she goes to. He knows everything because he is constantly tracking her. He probably has a tracker on her car. This guy is really, really creepy. I'm so glad they're divorced, but he's not going to stop. He's not going to stop until he finds something else to place his obsession on. This woman is in a very dangerous place right now. And I pray that she does everything she needs to do to protect herself. Bear spray, pepper spray, other types of stuff, whatever you need. Because I don't want to read about her on the news. But this guy is nuts. And she may have to move across the country to get away from him. And he can lie so easily in front of the judge. It's amazing. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.